This is so cool. You know, she kind of drape us up. She was like, "You will find a reason for your success or an excuse as to why you don't have it." So I'm here at the Create Cultivate event, getting ready to walk in, and I'm going to show you around.
Definitely not in the first 100.
So if we know that your name will be on their lips, what do we want them saying? We want them saying what? People stood outside in that line with these glorious.
So the
Mocktail's made with the Sauvignon Blanc.
okay, Sauvignon Blanc would be great.
It's
Just in case I wanted to like try this.
and the top of cocoa. That cocoa makes it like a little. Feel free to let us know what keeps you balanced.
Oh, okay.
And then also if you hashtag that free wine, they are reposting social media.
All right, I will. So beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Put some work, you know, I had to do that. Good bag. You know, I had to. Oh, okay.
Alright, and then let me know when it's nice and snug.
Yeah, feels that way. I'm inside the house. There's a wine cooler and everything. What? This is so cool. Thank you so much.
Now you're back to reality.
Back to Superwoman.
Yeah, back to Superwoman.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Yeah,
That's
no
one of the
problem.
coolest uses of integrating consumer tech into business. I'm
Exactly.
very impressed. Very impressed. I'm gonna like fix up.
We're so excited to have you. I'm Jacqueline Johnson. You might know me as the founder of Create Cultivate, but I'm also the co-founder of Chera with Angeline here.
I'm the resident tech nerd over at Chera, so I run our product and technology experience. That's my background. I've known Jacqueline for 17, 18 years, really, truly insane. And so we came up with the idea for Chera in a very LA way on a hike. And so, like she mentioned, part of it was I had been on the founding team of a company that came out of a very well-known tech accelerator called Y Combinator. A year and a half later, we were acquired by a company, and then a year and a half after that acquisition, that company went public. So I got to go from a team of 6 to a team of 3,000, IPO, real equity in the bank, the opportunity to help pay it forward to other founders and other women and just things I believe in. But I did not know where to start. And so really, ultimately, that's why we created Cherub, so that we didn't have to gatekeep on not just the founder side, but the investor side as well. Because if every person that could angel invest wrote just one $10,000 check, that would inject $190 billion worth of capital into the investment market. And like Jacqueline said, and we'll talk a bit more about the risks and the rewards of angel investing, there can be decent returns for some of these investments. And so, to be able to lower the barrier to entry and not make it just be like behind closed doors because you went to Stanford or you have like deal flow from just knowing certain people. That's really like why we created Cherub, which has been really exciting. And since we launched our beta experience a year ago, we've helped raise over $3.5 million to founders, and almost all of that has gone to underrepresented founders. And it's not necessarily because that's who we focus on, but I think that's who needs platforms like this more than ever. So we're really excited to dive a bit more into that, and then I want Alyssa Arnold, who's incredible.
Business of shifting and growing money and power. So we're looking at metrics all the time. However, when we are focused mostly on the numbers, before you know it, we start referring to our customers in numbers. Transactions, traffic, conversion percentages, subscriptions, basket size, you name it. And as leaders, it's so important that we have that balance, another word that we've used across here.
Of your community than your product. And so I like to think of it as the value quotient of how can you understand how to add value to your community beyond your product. And the beautiful thing, if you switch the script and actually do that, is that your community cares. They see that you care, and they'll often end up referring. What have we all done when we love a product?
That's a wrap. It was such a good time. I think I have to do a proper recap with you, but I really had so much fun. I'm so glad I came out, and big up Create and Cultivate. I wanted to do a quick recap of the Create and Cultivate event. As you can see, it was so fun, so much to see, and I'm so happy I went. First of all, this event was free of charge, And when I said we were fed with knowledge, with food, with opportunity, I have notes. So for those who don't know, Create and Cultivate is all about women entrepreneurship, and that's my jam. Empowerment, entrepreneurship, all the things, but like the real, not just the fluff of you can do it, I've done it. No, it's like, here's how I raised this $1 million, whatever. Here's how I connected with this person to start this business, and here's how I didn't know about this, but I asked questions, like practical information. Some of the people I want to call out: Jasmine Star. Loved her opening speech. She spoke about the reason for success, and she kind of draped us up. She was like, you will find a reason for your success or an excuse as to why you don't have it. Shame a kill me, because why Jasmine draped you up so in the morning? She was so honest, and she is a child of immigrants, so that hit home for me as an immigrant. It was just so enlightening to hear her story of working and all of those things, and then deciding, hey, I want to be a photographer, and then photography just turning into this whole thing. So that's just really encouraging. She also spoke about how she's really authentic with communicating with people when she can. So for example, she's responding to people and she records a short video. I mean, I don't know about you, but I get so fatigued responding to messages. I don't know what kind of trauma, but it's always easier if I can do like a voice note or even a video, and that has a personal connection. She also said, you want to be the builder that knows what your community needs. So even in product management and project management. You don't want to do a project that is not needed. Like, you have to build a business case, and in building that business case you get to really see, okay, what do we really need to make a difference, or what is, let's say if it's a revenue goal, what is the goal and how can we dial back? So even from what she's saying in terms of being a builder, are you looking at what you're doing as, I am building something, this is a construction site, and I need to know what the community needs. I need to know, you know, what the person on the road is looking for. Why hasn't it worked before? Be the builder the community needs. And then lastly, she said, what you have is enough, which is simple, and we've heard it. Do what you can with what you have, whatever. But when she say it that way, what you have is enough. You don't need to do another course. You don't need to buy another camera. Yes, if you're on a journey and you're doing a thing, make your investments. But if you are waiting for that perfect time, it's not going to happen. So, you know, that really hit home for me. Start where you are, all of the things, but just remembering that you are so uniquely made and your steps are ordained. And sometimes I forget. You know, I will be open about that, but I get up and try again. So yeah. And then we had other key takeaways. You know, one of the things that stood out was that they spoke about women not being afraid to ask for help. There's not much ego, and I think that's good. You know, I mean, it's hard to generalize because maybe there's someone who they've never asked for help and they're Miss Independent, you know, the stereotypes. But also, you know, as a community, I think of it like, you know, this might be TMI, but you know, as a woman or, you know, person with a vagina, and you're like, Ratted, I need a sanitary napkin, I need a pad, and you're like, shoot. You look around the room, you see which other women are there, and you ask, you go to them and you're like, hey, you have anything? And it's like a wall that is just non-existent in womanhood, you know. So we need to encourage that more. And yeah, you may have been burnt before. It's not everybody are gonna be your big friend, but you know, it was encouraging to hear her sentiment on that. You know, there are things that came up like book recommendations. Profit First. I'm gonna check out that book. I'll see what I can find from it, because there was something else she said. She said someone said to her, or in the book I think it was, that if your business is not making you money, it's a hobby. And it's okay if you have hobbies. Like YouTube don't make me no money, but it's a hobby right now. But eventually I hope to build it up so that it, you know, as I build a community, it builds me, you know. One of my favorite talks was about angel investing, and angel investing with different kind of money. Like, you might think, oh, one day I'll be a venture funder or an angel investor, or you know, but you don't have the money right now. But it's, they were able to break it down and talk about how, hey, they had this idea where they wanted to do angel investing. It wasn't necessarily enormous sums of money, but you know, there were opportunities and missions and businesses that needed angel investment from people who actually believed, and you being able to use the Cherub platform to look into that. And you know, there's something about a woman-run company, it just makes sense. You know, it just had a lot of things thought through. Like when you go on the page, you can see everything about the company that you are looking into. You can see what they've raised, you can see their team, you can see what their technical abilities are, you can see their, you know, mission, all of the things. And you know, in that we were talking about actually yourself, if you are a founder trying to have an exit strategy. You know, some investors are turned off by no exit strategy, which, you know, there can be different perspectives on that, because somebody will say, well, if you're building something you're so passionate about, then why would you want to exit? But if you're thinking for profit and for solution, then maybe it's for profit, but also you need an end goal. It's just like a project or a product. If you are saying to me, oh, I'm just gonna build this product and build this product and it's gonna be so perfect, da, 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 and it's just like on and on and on. Nobody has unlimited capital. Nobody has unlimited capital to just invest in something that's not going to have a return. So even in thinking about the iterations of a business or an idea, what is your end goal, what is your exit strategy. Do you have a clear path to acquisition? Like, we know we exist in a world where there are major players, so if you are a founder and you're not thinking through, okay, well, here is how I want my product to go worldwide, if that's the nature of the product, needing to think through, hey, this is a clear path to acquisition for me. These are the acquirers I would want. These are the brands or companies, the large companies that I would want to partner with that have similar values and goals, you know. So those are some of the things. Obviously, like we were saying, if it's not making profit, it's just a hobby. So the idea that there needs to also be a path to profitability. It's not like we have it all figured out all at once. And I think that's what a lot of people wait on. That's what I've waited on as well with certain ideas, because I'm just like, yo, I cannot be sure that this is going to make money. Nobody can be sure. There's a statistic that's floating around that speaks about how a lot of the venture capital firms, they know that 99% of what they're investing in terms of startups actually won't come to anything. They're betting on the 1%. They're just casting a wide net. So if you think about that for yourself, you know that 99.9999999% of your ideas may not be grandiose and actually, but it's 1% that we're betting on. You know, just like your existence, shot in the dark. It was not like, if you look up, you know, all the things that could happen to you to get you to this point, to be alive here at this moment, it was not just anything could happen. It was deliberate. Other thing that came up was credibility and trustworthiness and industry knowledge. From the founder side and from the angel investor side, you want to have a founding team that really is knowledgeable about what you're trying to do. Not everybody has to be that way, you know, but the idea is when you're pitching, you have that. On the investor side, you want to be looking for those things. Those are markers of a possibly good investment, you know. Some of the other things were, you want to get in when the valuation is less than $10 million. So, you know, a lot of people, they're like, no, but I want to be investing in the thing that's already big. Well, the gains are more limited. The idea is you get in before it hit that mega valuation, so you do get the opportunity to reap the rewards of that angel investment. It's just like the puppy acquisition I just came up with Pepsi. If you haven't heard of it, feel free to check out this link I'm going to drop in the chat, but this is the piece that I read on it and it done so well. But also I want to shout out this case review on Puppy that was on Instagram. Oh my gosh, in terms of their rebrand, it never even named Puppy. It was not even called Puppy. Too excited. Let me dial it back. Point is, get in when the valuation is lower, so that when big things happen like an acquisition by Pepsi, you are gaining and gaining and gaining all the rewards, right? Finally, I want to switch it up. So no software, especially with things like vibe coding. Like if you listen to the Hardcore podcast, they've been covering vibe coding, which is pretty much being able to use these different tools, whether it's AI tools, etc., to code when you don't know how to code. And we've had tools that exist before, but it's so much easier now. Like it's like when I started coding, I was doing HTML and C++, using it to make like tic-tac-toe and them things. No, and I still had to do actual coding, but with this you just write a sentence about what you want the app to be and it's creative, and it's called vibe coding. Like, we live in this world. What? It's so easy. So in essence, people are like, yo, software is kind of easy right now, but execution at scale excellently is what matters. Lastly, in the your first 100K session, OMG, that session was so real. You know, spoke about things like the cringe you feel when you decide, you know what, I'm gonna post online and I'm gonna try to be this thing. It's just like, one, you have to like literally break the physical reaction that you keep having to posting, and you're able to do that in practice. It's just like if we're practicing a sport, you know, or when you start to exercise and you feel kind of silly in the gym or on the walking trail because everybody else looks super fit and them know what them are doing, them have them, you know, them running vests with water and watch and it's just like, I feel kind of out of place. But it's the same thing online, and we'll have to practice, you know. But also there was this other thing where she said, check your self-talk when cringing at other people. especially people you know who are then going online and sharing, are you judging them? Are you cringing? Like, you know, are you doing that? Because how you treat other people is also a reflection of how you treat yourself. Other things, be more honest. People want honesty, people want authenticity. We hear that, but what does that mean? Some people just say, oh, I don't want to be ranting and raging, but it's to have an opinion. And I feel like this was somewhere like a main learning point for me, because I feel like I'm good at sharing information, but in terms of my opinion, I'm like, kind of afraid. I don't know if it's because I did pageants and stuff where you're worried about like something coming back to bite you or whatever, but yeah. And then you know, one of the other things, building public, that was even from the investment side, but generally building public. And lastly, it was, let me tell you, she spoke about this photography experiment where you had a professor who asked half the class to take pretty much like a photo every day or something leading up to their submission, and it didn't have to be super high quality, it just needed to be a picture. Just take a picture every day, whatever it is. Then you had the other half of the class who was doing a quality style, so they needed to take quality photos based on whatever markers. And of course they were doing less photos. I think they were only required to take 10, or you know, a much smaller amount. Like if it was 300 photos for the quantity, maybe it was 30 for the quality. I'll look back for the case study. Anyway, as you can imagine, where we're going, the ones who took more pictures, even though they weren't always of quality, had better work at the end. And so it's just reminding us to shoot our shot and to do it as at a high frequency as we can, because you know, we get better with time, we get better with practice. We get better with practice is the main point, because you could say, okay, over time I'm gonna do one YouTube video and it's gonna be so awesome, it's gonna go viral, and you post it and it's like 2 people watch it. Thanks for those 2 people, but actually maybe if you had done 10 lower quality ones or 20 lower quality ones, that's something that could have helped you improve. So that's where my mind is at right now. Like, you know what, stop telling yourself you need to do this to have this perfect thing to then put out. This is me, and I'm gonna show you my process. I'm building in public, I'm showing you who I am, and I'm shooting my shot at a higher frequency. 2025, like when I look back at how many videos I did last year, I'm like, wait, hold on, you really want to do this thing? Or it was like it's like a hobby, like she said. Making your money is the hobby, whatever. Are you building it? Are you believing in it? Are you waiting for somebody else to believe in your idea? Are you cringing at you? Let's take a breath. Are you cringing at your own idea? We gotta stop. And I know we have so many forms of creation that we can look at and say, wow, can you imagine if this person didn't put that out? Can you imagine if they just said, oh, okay, online, there are so many people online, so I'm not gonna go online. Okay, but then we heard these success stories and we're just like, Jano, if I did just try, if I just started, then it would be different. But it's just like, think about how many books are such a good example. How many books exist in the world? I don't know. I'm gonna put the number here if I can find it. But yeah, imagine if every single one of those authors said, you know, because there's another book, I'm not gonna write this book. Really? So yeah, that's my recap of all of the things. There are so many more things, but I just wanted to share those main things with you. Definitely around, you know, having the belief and stepping out and creating a business, knowing that you can do it. Also, the idea around angel investing and the ways to be involved in business without necessarily being the one on the ground, and how you can be an angel investor early on and not have, you know, enormous sums of money and, you know, like a yacht and an estate before you say, okay, I'm gonna do an angel investment now. And checking out platforms like CheerUp, which I will be doing as well. Of course, this video is not sponsored, but may I make you know, I'm letting you know that it's very interesting. Check it out. And you know, just even in terms of showing up online, showing up in our spaces, it's not just a separate part from us now. We know that online is integrated in everything we do, but we have to break the cringe. We have to increase our frequency for ourselves, not because we're trying to fight any algorithm, but just to get our bodies and our minds used to showing up in this way. So that's my recap of the Create and Cultivate event. I'm so glad, I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to go. Thank you so much to the Create and Cultivate team for bringing this back to Austin once again. And I hope to see you next year, wherever the next one is. Good vibes.